Imagine getting a job at a quiet animal hospital. At first, everything seems completely normal. You check in patients, complete your tasks, and help take care of the animals. But eventually, you notice something strange. A dark figure is standing somewhere down the hallway. It's tall, it's completely still, and it's staring directly at you. You look away for just a moment. When you look back, it's gone. This is the Stalker, one of the most mysterious anomalies found in Roblox's Animal Hospital. Animal Hospital may look cute on the surface, but the game hides a much darker side. As you work through the hospital, strange anomalies can appear throughout the building. Some are dangerous, some are deceptive, and some seem to exist simply to make you question what you're seeing. The Stalker is one of the strangest because it doesn't behave like a normal monster. It doesn't immediately chase you. Instead, it watches. The creature can appear around corners and in different areas of the hospital. If you make direct eye contact with it, your sanity decreases. Then the Stalker disappears. And that's what makes the encounter so unsettling. It feels less like you're being attacked and more like you're being observed. The Stalker itself has a disturbing appearance. It's a tall, dark, rat-like creature with enormous eyes and a wide grin. And because of its appearance and strange behavior, players quickly began wondering if there was more to it than just another anomaly. Why does it watch people? Why does it disappear after being noticed? And most importantly, what exactly is the Stalker? Those questions eventually led the Animal Hospital fandom to start digging deeper into the game's hidden lore. And that's where things get much more interesting. Because the Stalker may be connected to something that happened long before the player ever entered the hospital. But the Stalker isn't the only strange thing hiding inside Animal Hospital. As players explored the game, they began discovering clues that suggested the hospital had a much deeper story. And one of the biggest mysteries involves the Animal Corporation. The corporation is connected to the hospital and several of the strange events happening inside it. At first, most players didn't pay much attention to these details. But then they discovered something that changed the way people looked at the Stalker, a hidden area. Inside was information about an experiment involving something called the Shadow. And suddenly players had a question. What if the Stalker wasn't simply an anomaly? What if it was the result of an experiment? This is where Rattina enters the story. Rattina is Rathiu's twin sister. According to the game's lore, she disappeared after being connected to the Animal Corporation. And naturally, players started wondering if her disappearance was connected to the strange experiments happening around the hospital. The theory became even more interesting because of a photograph of Rattina and the clues surrounding it. Some players believe the photograph is connected directly to the Stalker. Others think Rattina and the Stalker are completely separate mysteries. But there's one detail that makes the theory especially interesting. The Stalker doesn't act like a creature that simply wants to kill everyone it sees. It watches. It appears from a distance. And when it's noticed, it disappears. That behavior has made some fans wonder whether the creature still has some kind of awareness. Could it remember who it used to be? Could it actually be Rattina? Or is the fandom connecting clues that were never meant to be connected? That's the problem with Animal Hospital's lore. The game gives players pieces of the puzzle, but it doesn't always give them the complete picture. And because of that, the community has created countless theories about what really happened inside the hospital. But the Rattina theory is only the beginning. Because if the Stalker really was created through an experiment, then we still have to figure out what happened to the person inside it. And this is where the Rattina theory gets even more interesting. Rathiu's story tells us that his sister disappeared, but the game doesn't simply give us a clear explanation of where she went. Instead, players are left with clues. One of the most important is the photograph of Rattina. It's not just a random picture. Players discovered that it can interact with the Stalker in a very unusual way. And for the fandom, that was enough to raise a huge question. Why would an ordinary photograph of Rattina have any connection to this creature? This is where the theory starts to make sense. Maybe Rattina was involved in one of the Animal Corporation's experiments. Maybe something went wrong, and maybe the result was the Shadow, the creature we now know as the Stalker. If that's true, then the Stalker isn't simply a monster that appeared inside the hospital, and that would explain one of the strangest things about it. The stalker doesn't seem interested in chasing people around. It just watches, almost like it's observing the hospital or the people inside it. But there's an important reason we can't call this confirmed lore. The evidence is suggestive, but it's still open to interpretation. There are even details that make the theory questionable. Maybe Rattina was involved in the experiment but became something completely different. Maybe the shadow is another entity entirely. Or maybe the developers intentionally left the clues vague so players could create their own theories. The mystery isn't completely solved. Every strange clue creates another question, and every theory creates another possibility. But there's still one thing we haven't explained. Why would the Animal Corporation be experimenting with something like this in the first place? To understand that, we have to look at the hospital itself. So after everything we've discovered, what do we actually know about the Stalker? We know that it's one of the most mysterious anomalies inside Animal Hospital. We know that it watches players from the darkness, damages their sanity when they look at it, and disappears instead of chasing them. But the biggest mystery isn't what the Stalker does. It's what the Stalker actually is. The Rattina theory gives us one possible answer. Maybe Rattina became the shadow after an experiment conducted by the Animal Corporation. Maybe the Stalker is what's left of her. But until the game confirms it, that's still only a theory. And honestly, the uncertainty is what makes the story so interesting. The Animal Hospital fandom has taken these small pieces of information and turned them into something much bigger. Players create theories about the anomalies. They make animations showing their own interpretations of the characters. They create fan art, stories, and videos trying to explain what happened inside the hospital. And every new discovery can completely change how people understand the lore. That's also why the Stalker became such an iconic part of the game. It doesn't need a complicated chase sequence. It doesn't need to constantly attack the player. Sometimes, simply standing in a dark hallway and watching is enough. Because the scariest question isn't, is the Stalker going to attack me? It's, who is the Stalker? Was it created by the Animal Corporation? Was Rattina involved? What exactly is the shadow? And is the creature still aware of what it used to be? Maybe future updates will finally answer those questions. Or maybe the developers will leave enough clues for the community to keep arguing about them for years. For now, the Stalker remains one of Animal Hospital's biggest mysteries. A creature that doesn't chase you. It doesn't need to. It simply watches from the darkness, waiting for you to look back.